Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Mount Tammany Ridge channel. This morning we're starting out with some odds and ends here on the farm. I've already done a couple little things. Moving on to, well, more little things before I can get to any wood split this afternoon. Just coming down here to, I guess, basically rehang up another fence plank. We've been trying to nurse this fence through the end of this summer and this winter, obviously, so that maybe we can, in the springtime, if we even get a freeze, we haven't had frost here in probably, I don't know, 4 years. Not one that's, you know, more than maybe 6 or 8 inches deep. So we're down here at the bottom corner of the property, and that's just very old oak fence planks. We've actually reused them once already. The posts are all pressure treated 4x4, and what do you call it? They've got the it's like a round post, but it's got two sides with a flat surface. You know, we've been like I said, kind of reusing the planks. They're shot. They all need to be replaced. Posts, planks, everything. I've been slowly acquiring, you know, all this fence. So basically, all the way up that way, you can see one of the horse trailers right there, and about that distance up the fence line. And from where I am here down to this corner behind me. So I would say it's probably better than 300 feet, maybe. So yeah, we're going to be pretty busy in the springtime, tearing all this out and starting fresh, which will be nice because that'll give us probably another 10-15 years. The pressure treated stuff these days, all the lumber that we get, you know, from the suppliers is not so hot. A little bit frustrating. So yeah, you guys might have better luck going straight to a mill and you know, getting whatever it is that they're harvesting, because that's all old growth stuff. But at least on the east side of the country, eastern side of the country. So all right, I'm gonna set you guys up. Like I said, I'm just gonna throw this plank back up, and then we're gonna scurry around to the other side of the property. There's a little pile of brush I gotta kind of throw in the back of the Ranger real quick, relocate that, and then it's on to, yes, the manure pile. Got to go down there to the corner, stack all that up, compost it, and we might have to relocate some of it because we do have a horse here that is very heavily medicated. So we want to make sure that we keep his manure separate from what we usually use to put in the garden. We want to make sure that that doesn't wind up in the garden. So we're going to put it on the back side, I believe, of the manure pile, where it can be, you know, sterilized and neutralized, I guess you'd call it, by the sun whenever the sun comes around. As you can see, it's been very gray here actually for the past 2 weeks or better, and most of it's been rain. So I haven't gotten to do anything except for stand at the sliding glass door wishing I had something to do in the rain. So I'm gonna stop yammering now, and I'll bring you guys along with me for what little bit I have to show you today. All right, so one of the things that I've made a habit of over the years of being out here alone tinkering with this fence is not just the obvious, you know, screw gun, but also a friend to help me hold up the other side of the plank. That way, when I'm pulling this side up, the other side doesn't bail out on me. Most of the time it works. Every once in a while you have a plank bail out because the clamp slips or whatever, but it's a heck of a lot better than not having anything. The other thing, let me know if you guys get frustrated with this too, but It seems like every time I go to a lumber yard or a hardware store or somewhere to go and get screws to, you know, maintain the fence and do other projects around the farm, they always have some other supplier with another type of bit that you got to use for the screw. You know, it used to be pretty much everything was either a number 2 or like a combination square drive / number 3 bit, which was very convenient. And it just, I mean, I think personally the square drive combination number 3 bit, I thought that was awesome, because now either you could use a real stout number 3 bit and you can get, you know, a lot more work done without stripping it out, or if you had a square drive you could just rock and roll with a square drive. But now it's a Torx or a number 2 or a different size Torx, or it's just absolutely driving me bonkers, because now with all this fence that we have that we got to replace the planks with, it happens over a course of years and years. So if whenever you go to the store you got to buy a different a screw with from a different manufacturer with a different bit that's required to fasten it, now every time we go to do maintenance on the farm we have no idea what we're getting into, because it's been so many years. So you know what I'm probably going to do, joking, but what I should do is take the labels of the screw gun, the screw boxes that we get, and literally just staple it to the post, and then go to the post where those bits stop and then staple it to that one, kind of like, you know, marking your vegetables in the garden. It's getting to be a little bit crazy. So, okay, enough of my rant. Anywho, let's, without stepping in any bear scat, we got plenty of that around here. So this side of the plank has two different. It's got a number 2 Phillips head, and then it's got a square drives. This side, yep, 2 square drives and 1 number 2. Down a little. Maybe I can salvage these. Come on. Didn't think that was going to happen. All right, now let's change out the bit for the other 2. Now you're getting to pick up what I'm putting down here, huh? This is frustrating. Okay, nope, that's a Torx. Hopefully I don't lose that in the pasture somewhere. Yeah, here looking for it with a magnet. Oh, look, a square drive. And it looks like it's well rounded. How convenient. Okay. Cool. Well, now I don't have to deal. I'm not going to reuse these screws, I don't think. I don't have to deal with them being broken off, which is nice. I brought some Torx screws down, because those are the new ones we've got lately. So let's see. Yes, hopefully I can get in here without getting zapped. Yep, that one snapped off. Now you know what's going to happen. I'm going to drive away and the next plank's going to fall down or something, or the one behind it. All right. So, oh yeah, got to go back to the Phillips head now. Yay. Switch out the bits again. I gotta fish around, see if I can find the Torx. Where are we at? Nope. Ay, 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 ay. Come on. Ooh, out. That was the tip of a screw. Ooh, that's sharp. All right. Next. It's like the lottery back in the day, waiting to watch for the ball that pops up with whatever number. There we go. Now, hopefully, stupid me, I left the garage without even checking to see if this was the right Torx for these screws. Woo! My lucky day. Another guarantee that I'll never win the lottery. Keep getting lucky like that. All right. So, wow, that thing is jacked up. I don't know. I'm not feeling so confident these things are gonna make it through the winter. Not so much. One. I don't know how much of this you can really see, but these planks are really terrible. You can see that they're all doing the Axl Rose serpentine there. Just kind of doing the whole slithery snake thing. It's terrible. All right, well, who knows? You guys might see us out here after a deep frost, ramming T-posts and zip tying these things up. Because if we do get a good frost this year, other than lighting this whole fence on fire and thawing out the ground underneath it so we can run posts into the ground, we ain't gonna be doing any drilling or slamming them in, that's for sure. But I'm not the one calling the shots in that department. We'll have to see. All right, let's get down around the property and go throw some sticks. So I've got about one bundle worth of smaller splits here from the other day when we were trying to make a few more bundles. What do you call it? Just went down to the bundlewood stand and still a little early, but it ain't hopping like it was last weekend. Last weekend, I say hopping, partially being funny, however serious at the same time. I really don't make hardly any bundlewood sales, at least not yet. There's just not enough people that know that my stand even exists. So that in there. That was a little bit of a awakening for me because really wasn't ready for it. Firewood hasn't sold out of that stand for pretty much the entire time that I've had firewood available. Up until that weekend. I think prior to last weekend, I may have made 5 sales out of that thing the whole time. So yeah, all of a sudden now the holidays are here, and we're kind of panicking a little bit. So I thought maybe throughout last week we would have had had some more sales with the holiday coming up, but we hadn't had any. But I just went down to the stand about 10 minutes ago, and we had made one sale. So it's like I said, Saturday, and we're closing in on the evening. So we have all day tomorrow, and even some of Monday, I imagine, for possible firewood sales. So we'll see what happens. So typically with my bundles, I try to get about 14 pieces. And I say try, but I mean I do. I do get 14 pieces in each of my bags. Try to make that kind of like a baseline count. So I know there's a lot of bundle wood, a lot of channels where they got people making bundle wood, and they used to do the 14-piece count thing, and they drifted away from it over time because I guess 1 cubic foot of wood is 1 cubic foot of wood. It doesn't matter how big the pieces are. But I get weary not putting the same amount of pieces in around here anyway, because a lot of people they sense consistency, they pick up on consistency, and when the count of pieces within the bundle is not consistent with previous purchases, they may not understand that a cubic foot is a cubic foot, and so I want to try to avoid that. It does kind of force me to have to make my pieces a little on the smaller side. However, once again, a cubic foot is a cubic foot, and I have had people make the comment that oh, they seem kind of small. Well, the truth of the matter is that I have burned these bundles, of my own bundles, and at some of my friends' places with their backyard fire pits and their solo stove type of setups. And one bundle, just one of these bundles was burning, that bundle lasted, I should say, for well over like an hour and a half, and it had nice flame. It was putting off good heat and light and everything, and so effectively, I mean, 2 of these bundles could possibly burn for around 3 hours. So I mean, and that's just been my experience. I have not put a timer on it or anything like that. Maybe one day I will do that. But when you're in a party setting, okay, there's really not a lot of people standing around staring at the fire, nor are they really concerned about getting heat off of it for the most time. Most of the time, they're just lighting up a pile of money in a fire pit. So there's that to consider. The other thing is that, fire is one of those things that most people don't like to leave unattended. So a fire that lasts hours and hours and hours is typically something that people don't realize how much they don't want it to last for hours. At some point, they want the fire to burn down, and they want it to, they want to get their money's worth out of the fire, but they don't want to feel like they're dumping water, on something they invested their money in. They want to have it burn to the very bitter end. So if you look at it that way, that's also kind of a, how can I say, an angle to approach how much, and how what sizes you split and things like that. So again, just food for thought. Whether you guys think I'm full of baloney or maybe I'm off base, I don't know. But if you feel otherwise, or maybe you have a rebuttal, just contact me back. Hit me up in the comments and let me know what you guys think. So I'm gonna finish up this bundle and then we're gonna get on to some splitting. Well, that wasn't too bad of a splitting session. I got the rest of this IBC tote filled up. I didn't do a full IBC tote. Just wanted to get this one done. Unfortunately, when I went to go fire up the tractor, it was already occupied with a manure bucket full of manure, and I believe that's the medicated stuff that we're concerned about. So I just kind of left that be. You know, the sun's quickly disappearing, as you can see. It's getting darker, so kind of worked out quite well, actually. I wanted to talk about a very sensitive but legitimate problem. Now, the subject we're going to be talking about today, it can be very awkward for a lot of people, mostly the guys who are providing a service. So the subject matter that we want to talk about today is shrinkage. Shrinkage can be a very awkward and it's sometimes unsightly type of thing to happen to somebody. And it's kind of from what I've heard a pretty big problem, and in some cases a small problem. So when I had heard a couple stories about people, suppliers of services showing up to a client's home or business or something, and and they suffer from what they call shrinkage. And again, it's a very awkward thing, especially once you load up the wood and then show up to your client's house and dump your load in their driveway, to find out that when you restack all the wood, the pile's not as big as you thought it was. So typically when you guys are stacking, whether it's literally hand stacking face cords or IBCtotes or even the log lift bags, when you get done stacking green wood, and any of those three ways, by the time it's seasoned, you go back to it and you realize that it's no longer a full face cord. And that's problematic. And I know all of us guys and gals have who are involved in providing firewood services, whether it's big wood or small wood, or I guess lack of better words, just whether you're doing how can I say, bulk delivery or partial, which is 1/3 of a cord or 1/6 of a cord nowadays, bundle wood. That shrinkage due to seasoning can cause a little bit of a problem when you show up to the customer, because they want to see that if they stack it up, they want to see it calculate to either a 16-inch long piece, 4 feet high and 8 feet wide. That's what they're going to want to see. And if you provide any less than that, that can be a problem. Now, a lot of us have been going back and forth, jokingly and, you know, half seriously as well, with the IBCtote, you know, modifications and things like that. Now, a lot of us are trying to find ways to modify the IBCtotes so that we can still have the opportunity or the possibility of stacking them to save storage room. Now, obviously, you know, if you're going to stack these, you don't want the wood that you're putting in there to stack above the top of the crate. So otherwise, when you go to pull your forks out, even if it does nestle itself on there good, when you go to put your forks back in, you might not be able to do that without creating a huge mess. So that being said, you know, basically what I'm getting to is, if you guys are gonna stack these crates and you can only put stack your wood so high, you've got to kind of prepare yourself with, before you make a delivery, you need to bring it down to the ground, or pick it up off the ground in that case, and bring it to wherever you have other seasoned wood, maybe a loose pile somewhere, maybe some loose stacks, so that you can, you know, put some more on the top of this, so that way you're delivering a full face cord. Because I actually noticed that this year, that the amount of shrinkage caused by seasoning was more substantial than I ever thought, to be honest, because I was stacking them, you know, 6 inches or so above the top of the IBCtote. And these IBCtotes are like the 275 gallon. And last season, when I had seasoned wood stacked in these things, and I was sending them down the chute into the basement and stacking them in face cord racks downstairs, it wasn't calculating to a full face cord. It was calculating back then to a full face cord, but this season, not so much. So just some food for thought. While I was running the machine here, I was shutting it down, getting ready to be good with it. And when I got done stacking the last little bit in there, I realized, you know, I should probably put a little bit more on top, because maybe, you know, by the end of you know, the seasoning cycle, it'll be at least flush with the top of the tote. Because yeah, the ones that are coming up short are slightly lower than the top of the IBCtote, and I'm coming up short. So lesson learned there. So I haven't really come up with a legitimate solution as to, you know, how to provide extra, you know, wood laying around, you know, to top those off before I make deliveries. So that is one thing that Chris from out in the wood yard, that's one thing he's got going for him. Even though he hand throws all that stuff in there, you know, that stuff is seasoned when he's tossing it. And when it goes into his truck or trailer or whatever, as long as all of his measurements are on, you know, on the mark, well, then he's actually delivering what he's selling. So, you know, that's one thing you do got to be careful with these measured amounts through these IBCtotes and log lift bags. So anywho, enough of the rambling. I'm going to take the rest of this stuff that I split from these other two partial, these quartered pieces, and I'm going to throw them on top, and I'll call that good for now. So likely I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be doing some more splitting, and I got all that maple down there in the gravel kind of hanging out. So I'm thinking I'm going to start into bucking that stuff up and getting that ready, because that's beginning to be an eyesore, and I'd like to see it gone sooner than later. But until tomorrow, that's it for now.